43% of professional women with children leave the workforce. 43%. That's a huge number, and I know because I'm one of them. I quit my job as a CFO at Seagate because I had a child, we had a home, and a husband. Too many of us are forced to choose between work and family every single day. When I chose to become one of those 40% who did return to the workforce, you can imagine my frustration when I was unable to find trusted care anywhere in the marketplace. And that's when Oneva was born. The Oneva Concierge Care platform allows our users to conveniently view, book, approve, and pay for FBI background check caregivers. We are currently in the market with Microsoft employees delivering house cleaning, elder care, infant care, pet care, driving, and other services that busy professionals all need as a wellness benefit. Rather than tell you how convenient and easy it is to use the Oneva platform, let's cut to a demo so you can see for yourselves. Please, let's start the demo. So my husband of 31 years, Bob Gardine, 10 patents, 3 exits. We've been married 31 years, and we still have a minor child at home. Can you believe that? We've been working really hard to prepare for Disrupt, and we deserve a night out. We live in Oakland, and we love Scott's out on the water, but we need care for our daughter. So let's go ahead and see what caregivers are available to come and provide care for our child. And because we're so excited about this event, we're going to call it our celebratory night out. As you can see, our algorithm has matched a number of caregivers who meet our needs. Let's take a look at Belaine and see what she has to say.
Hi, my name is Belaine, and I would love to be your Oneva caregiver. I care for children and elders, and I offer driving services to help my families get to school and appointments. I love meeting new people, and I get great satisfaction helping them however I can.
Awesome. Now that we've heard from Belaine, let's see her credentials. With a simple click, I can see that FBI background check, that first aid certification, and that degree from San Francisco State. Let's go and book her for this evening. Let's go ahead and cut back to the PowerPoint. As we designed this platform, we realized that we could impact more families and more markets by designing for the enterprise. And that's when Microsoft joined our team. Fred Till, General Manager Benefits at Microsoft, came to me and he said, I need the Oneva Concierge Care platform so that I can win in the talent wars. He said he needed one more innovative arrow in his quiver so he could go out and attract and retain the best and the brightest. And that's exactly what we do today. Moreover, we're able to attract and retain the best workers because we focus on worker safety, a job career, and living wages. Yes, we know there are others in the market today providing care direct to consumer, and we know those marketplaces are filled with landmines for many, including their investors. You're wondering how we monetize this relationship with Microsoft. Well, here's what we do today. We simply mark up the cost of the caregiver, and that's how we make our money. Today in the San Francisco Bay Area, Microsoft employees are able to pay for these services using their credit card, their debit card, payroll deduction, and also employer-provided stipend. But we can produce that FSA reimbursement receipt needed so that Microsoft employees can get those pre-tax dollars back that they spent in our platform. Yes, we're attacking multiple multi-billion-dollar markets, and I'm humbled to say that this certified minority-owned provider is the only player in this market and in this time. Microsoft absolutely is our first pilot, and we're excited to say that we have others who are anxious to join our team, including Oracle. I'm Anita of Oneva. I solve real problems like elder care and extending women's careers. Oneva means trust, and we care for yours like they're ours. Thank you. you.
Judges.
Can you talk a little bit about how long you've been working with Microsoft, how often employees use it, what the frequency looks like, and if there's kind of a stack ranking of the services that they use most to least?
Absolutely. We began our relationship with Microsoft in December 2014. That's when I was approached by Fred Thiel, and we began that collaborative process. They've worked with us extensively while we operated in market in the consumer space, providing infant to elder and care and other services. When we launched our pilot here in the San Francisco Bay Area in February, to our surprise, the average user was male, 65% of the time, and requested on average 2.2 different services. 40% requested 3 different services. The largest number of folks wanted house cleaning, infant care, and driving. What we discovered when we went out into those homes and started to work with our clients is that many of our tech worker families have come from around the world, sometimes bringing their elders and children, and sometimes coming from cultures in which house cleaning and other services are just the natural part of what it is they expect in any event. So most of the services that we've provided thus far have been in that category. It took us less than 90 days to have our first customer reach $10,000 in spending on the platform. In terms of how often do folks repeat, in the consumer market, we were able to maintain a 100% rebook rate. And our launch with Microsoft thus far, not quite at that 100% rate, we're still small pilot, but certainly we've seen significant rebook in the areas as I've described, infant care particularly. We've also taken on clients from another company in anticipation of additional enterprises.
Are you still running the consumer side of the business, or are you focused on the enterprise?
We focus exclusively on the enterprise. Our platform is designed for GDPR 2018 standards. Think Equifax. That's your child's data, where they go to school, your mom's medical information. Yep. We believe that should be protected as much as your child, your elder, your pet, your home. But that's our approach to that.
And what about the process of vetting people, going through kind of the background checks and all of that? Like, how do you manage that? Do you pay for it? What's the scalability?
Absolutely. In California, we have a great law called Trust Line, a 1987 law that actually requires the worker to secure an FBI background check. And that worker pays $124 once in their lifetime, and that is a living background check. That means if my worker, Belaine, is somewhere here, she commits a crime in a year and a day, I get a FedEx. And Belaine won't be working in your home anymore.
So you're leveraging Trust Line data.
Absolutely. We use an FBI background check as well as a California DOJ background check. That means they look throughout the entire state, just not where'd you live the last 3 years or the last 7 counties.
Anita, I'm so glad that you were able to come back to the workforce, so it's great to see that. I just had a question when it comes to your caregivers, sort of 2 things. First, what is the price to actually put them online? It looked like you also were doing videos with sort of consistent background, so I assume that you're producing those videos?
Absolutely, we are producing those videos. In order to hire the 10,000 workers, we'll need to support Microsoft domestically. We've actually introduced a patent this Friday. It's AI-based facial recognition of personal video recording studio. So we'll have an automated, non-human intervention way to create those curated videos, not only to meet our customer needs, but we certainly think our young daughter, who is a Taylor Swift fan, is going to want to make her own videos. And of course, when we talk to our friends at Microsoft, we can't help but think, wouldn't LinkedIn be so much better with videos instead of those still images to help all of us in the workforce?
And then I guess my follow-up question was, is this used mostly for consistent need, or is it really for emergency?
We can accommodate any user. Certainly if we're a mom, we have a mom who has a 3-month-old returning to work, we are able to provide that care consistently. What we've seen early on, again in market since 2014, We identified in Arlene, literally the executive woman in that last trimester needing support, that first 3 months with the child at home. You'll see the return to work, more time, and then that child move into a permanent arrangement. Similarly, we have some moms who want to maintain that and have us be that nanny, but we absolutely do see frequent bookings. In most cases, it takes as few as 14 hours of service with us to pay back client acquisition costs. So when we look at the kinds of services that people book, people care tend to book frequently. That said, you may just want to go on a date night and you need elder care for that night for your mom. So our platform, we're able to accommodate clients with fixed needs, variable needs, and the same for the workforce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Anita, how do you go about recruiting the potential workers, and when you, and then on the other side, as you're starting to think about other enterprises, are you selling into the heads of human resources? Who's your ideal buyer?
My ideal buyer is the head of benefits in every corporation, absolutely. And the way that we find workers, there are existing organizations that produce workers. There are vocational colleges. We have a contract with an organization called Leaders Up, in which they'll spend $100,000 to train men of color to fulfill our jobs, to fill the jobs that we have. So I'm honored to say I'll be in Oakland next month with the mayor, Ronnie Lott, welcoming 1,000 men of color into the workforce, some of whom will have been trained to come and perform these functions at Oneva.
Have you gone out and started to pitch other people to understand what the sales cycle might look like to a company and what their set of concerns might be?
Absolutely. In the past few years, again, as a certified minority-owned company, I'm able to sell in through certain organizations, and I've had interactions with at least 25 Fortune 100 firms. I've had Finland travel here 4 times, inviting us to provide elder care for the entire country. So from an enterprise standpoint, we have had significant interest and attraction. In this moment, we only seek 4 enterprises to build out and drive to the $1 billion revenue run rate that we seek as we consider an exit.
And so, like, for instance, with Microsoft, are you offering it to Microsoft employees in a particular location? You kind of need to kind of get the client, but then go market by market as you build up the available resources.
And our technology platform is designed for scale, for exactly that purpose. But again, today's world is global. So to support a customer like Microsoft here in the San Francisco Bay Area, I also have to be able to support them in Ireland, where they also have employees. So Oracle, who you'll see is our next, maybe I'll take a bite of an apple. Those companies are all global. So our technology platform and our scale plans address those needs. Let's face it, care is a global issue, particularly elder care.
So I saw your the triangle describing some of the competitive landscape. Can you help me understand, other than the background check, because I could imagine Care.com or some of the other ones maybe picking that up. How does this look different to the employer? What's the...
Absolutely. First, we've designed for enterprise. Think Equifax, right? That's your kids' data that may be on a consumer-grade platform where it talks about what school they go to, what time your mom's doctor's appointment is. My child's data is protected in the Oneva platform because it meets those standards. So that's one big differentiation between us and those. As I mentioned, compliance. As a former CFO in different companies, it's important to me to adhere to California law. Trustline was a 1987 law. Oneva is regulated by the Department of Social Services as a result of that. And for that reason, we uniquely have the FBI to do our background checks. And we feel pretty good about those results. Because let's face it, do you want to know about your caregiver from the FBI or from a buddy in Facebook?
And those other platforms don't do those kinds of things.
They do not. At Oneva, you know the identity of every caregiver on the platform. We start out by looking at that driver's license, and then again, we do get those results from the FBI. So we know who they are. One of the reasons we started this business, as I shared, I couldn't find care in the marketplace, and I went out to some of those other sites, and it became apparent they don't know the identity of their caregivers. I can put myself up and say, I'm Beyonce. Let me care for your child. Isn't that a scary thought? Everybody, come on. So that's why we started Oneva.
Is your pricing model to the consumer different or comparable to the competitive set?
From a pricing standpoint,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're at about $25 an hour, and I'm making 30% plus margins, and I'm okay with that. So we believe, again, obviously huge opportunity, huge market to make money, but what a great opportunity to provide elder care for our most vulnerable, by our most vulnerable. So we impact on many bottom lines. But we do love capitalism. We like profit.
Just really quickly on the enterprise side, you mentioned there where you had the double-sided thing, showing your, just adding on additional. You mentioned there were several ways to charge the customer. One way, of course, was direct, credit card, et cetera. And then you also mentioned payroll deduction. Is that pre-tax?
Payroll deduction?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No. Right now, everything's post-tax.
Okay. Do you foresee a pathway to a pre-tax scenario where you could register and get pre-tax benefits?
Hadn't really contemplated a pre-tax benefit. I mean, the tax laws around childcare, elder care, the IRS drives those, so we adhere to that. What we do within our technology platform is we can certainly help you track those expenditures. If, for example, you have a child and you are able to submit FSA reimbursement, you can simply set that up and we'll enable you to produce the reports directly from the platform that you send into Premera Blue Cross, into your service provider, and we comply in that regard. We added that feature because so many Microsoft employees called their FSA provider and said, can we use our pre-tax dollars? And that's why we made that feature available. And that was in direct response to that single email that we sent out that resulted in the demand that I shared.
All right, we're pretty much out of time, so give it up for Oneva.